I think that's why I have such an affinity for Catholic Charities, is because they're the same age I am. And Al. We were born right in the middle of the founding of Catholic Charities, 1933. My father was probably the best businessman I've ever known, and fair and honest, absolutely ran the business so ethically when times were pretty hard. Starting a business, and right at the end of the Depression, he would sit down in the dining room and start writing checks to charity. I think that's what impressed Al so much. He would come and sit there with his mouth just hanging open that my dad was giving money away. But it made him so happy to give to charity. And so Catholic Charities that was right up his alley, to do it right locally instead of writing checks to all over the country. It just was in his system to get things started. He wasn't one that was just going to sit and watch. It was very common to find someone at your front door looking for food. The men would come in on the train, and we weren't that far from the train tracks down in southeast Portland. And they would come up, and my mother always had, my grandmother too, always had soup, sandwich ready for these men. And then we found they were marking the trees out in front of our house, so that's why there were so many. Al and I grew up with Catholic Charities. It was just a very important part of our life growing up. Everything Catholic Charities did, we were behind 100%. I'm very impressed with what Catholic Charities has done for affordable housing. Catholic Charities is just the mainstay, I think, of people that desperately need help. I think my dad would be very proud of what has happened. I'm sure he's looking down from heaven and very, very happy.
My motto has always been, you're only as happy as you make up your mind to be. You have to be beyond yourself to have some peace. My mom was always there. She was just one of those people that did everything for everybody. And the idea of doing something for others appealed to all of us Catholic girls, I guess.
There's a lot of anger toward the poor today, which is somewhat shocking.
Oh, yes, it is. Because they need hands-on help more than anybody else.
Yeah.
Well, because Catholic Charities serves not just Catholics, but all the people that are in need, that ask for it, if they want it. I think that would appeal to the younger people, because I think they do. The younger generation does want to make this world a better place. We gathered the mothers, the wives that had children busy in school, and then we had time to get together. And it was a very active, involved day. We could do it once a month. We'd have a meeting, and we'd bring diapers for babies that needed diapers, or we'd have a cause to gather for, as well as get together. And then we organized and had Christmas parties. There are lots of places that do good things, but there is a community involved in the Catholic Charities that reaches out, in my mind, with a bigger heart. And you can't be happy without reaching out.
There's still a lot of people that are unhappy, and it's got to be too much emphasis on the self. Spirit of being a part of something larger than yourself is what Catholic Charities is all about. I think about my mother all the time, how she's been the guiding moral code in my life.
A sensitivity to others.
It's-
You'd say, I'm going to have a slumber party. Can I have 6 people all night?
Well, what about?
She said, well, what about the other girls in the class? I wouldn't hurt anybody's feeling for the world. She didn't care if 22 came and brought their sleeping bag. I think that my mother was always very sensitive about people suffering, particularly the homeless. And Catholic Charities was sort of out in front, helping the homeless in different ways. And Catholic Charities emerged in Portland as sort of one of the prime agencies, not just for Catholics, but for everyone.
But it was an extenuation of that Catholic community that we all knew as children. And I think it spoke to a part of our heart that's always been, we always yearning for, to be a part of the larger family.
Catholic Charities is one of the biggest charities in Oregon, and it serves all people, and they have a track record of really being there for people. And they have even built 1,200 housing units, right? For low-income housing units, and they have made a real dent in this community and will continue to. And their refugee program is fantastic.
And their little miniature houses were the first ones were built by Catholic Charities, and they were the model. And I said, they're on board for what's happening today, not yesterday.
The human suffering in our country is much more visible. And that really ought to ignite some really goodwill in people. I think it does. It's federal money, first of all, that's helping these people, but the assistance it's giving them is really help them to integrate and become productive members of the community. I think we all benefit from that.
With conversation with lots of women, Barbie and several, we started Catholic Charities having
Friends.
a big event, I would say as early as 1976 or so. And we got John Iloriaga loaned us the U.S. Bank, and we had a dinner for 800 people, and it was a huge event. I can think of so many people who were so involved. Ann Tracy, Kathy Burchell. They just gave of their time and their heart, but we got more back than we gave. That's what's always true of giving. Is the giver gets more than the receiver.
I would like to see more community involvement, not just in giving money, but a sort of a groundswell of people who really support Catholic Charities and know about it and want to participate in some way or another, because it's a great avenue for addressing a lot of the problems we see every day, and homelessness and mental health issues and women's violence against women. Catholic Charities is there for all of those things. Yeah, the homeless problem has really highlighted the number of people in need in our community, and nobody is not aware of it. And when the word goes out that Catholic Charities is there for all people, it's a major sort of force in the community.
They are attuned to the urgency of the moment.